Hello, welcome to day 23 of the Intensify podcast series. And today I want to discuss how to stop scattering your energy. Now, this is very important because success is jealous of scattered energy. Many people are not able to achieve their goal, their desire, and the things they are pushing for because they scatter their energy in a very uncontrolled manner. When I was in the secondary school, I recall that my science teacher did an experiment for us. He took a magnifying glass, and beneath that glass was a piece of paper. And what the magnifying glass does was to concentrate the rays of sunlight to a particular spot, such that as soon as we put the magnifying glass and there was a piece of paper beneath it, in less than 1 minute, that paper caught fire because it was able to channel the rays of sunlight to a particular spot and it began to burn. If you probably have not experienced that while in school, you are not a science student, just imagine taking a bucket of water and pouring it on a particular spot. It's different from when you just splash it around. If you put it on a particular spot, that place will likely have a small hole because of the intensity of the water and the force that was being applied. The same way, many people are not making impacts in life. They are doing a lot, but are not seeing the result because they are not selective. And in life, you need to be selective for you to be very effective. Now, there are a lot of people that keep asking me this question almost every week. How are you able to do everything that you are doing and you do them so excellently? You're in ministry, you're doing well in family, you're doing well in business, you're doing well in career. So how are you doing everything and you're able to combine all those things together? Now, to explain that, let me flip the question around and to also share with you a question one of my leaders asked me at work, at my workplace once. He said some time ago, he said, I've observed you and I realized that you are doing a lot. You are always on billboards, you are in one church program or the other, you are in one speaking engagement or the other, even professionally. You're also doing a lot at work. He says, I want you to please, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to intrude into your life, but you need to watch it so that it does not affect your work. And I told him to sit down and I explained to him. I said, I have been doing all these things for over 20 years, even before I joined this company. And despite that, if you should check, in the last 20 years, I had the fastest promotion in this organization. So secondly, if you check the performance dashboard, I'm not doing badly. I'm even doing very, very well. I said the difference is that we all spend our time differently, and you need to listen to this. I have 24 hours a day. You also have 24 hours a day, and everybody at work have 24 hours a day. But the difference is that an average person in the workplace, what do they do with their time? After work or during weekend, many of them watch football, Premiership League. They can watch maybe two or three matches. Some will watch movies, some will go to parties, some will go to clubbing. They do many things with their time. If you accumulate all this time that has been spent on what I've just mentioned, many times it's usually more than 10 hours in a weekend. I say, but for me, I used to do some of these things before, but I stopped doing them because I don't have enough time. So the time I would have used to watch movie or watch football, I have used them for ministry work or to do what I'm doing right now, this kind of a podcast series that I'm using to bless life. I say, this is my own football. This is my own fun. This is my own party. This is my own club. And so if I'm spending this time doing this, I don't think you should be looking at me and maybe I'm not performing well at work. I'm performing well. So it is what I have chosen to do with my time. So don't rate me based on the number of billboards that you see me on. Rate me based on my performance. And when I finished that explanation, I said, wow, this is very insightful. I never saw it this way. Now, this is the point I'm trying to make. I've sat down to analyze, to say there are just 24 hours. I cannot do everything. So I needed to select what I will focus on. And so those of you who have been asking those questions, how are you able to combine all those things? Well, you've heard one of the reasons. I thank God for His grace and mercy. One major reason is that I'm selective in what I do. So the point to you today is that you need to choose your battles. You need to choose your fun. You need to be mindful of where you spend your energy, because success is jealous of scattered energy. You cannot be intensifying on everything and you do well. There are things you need to focus on and intensify your efforts on those things. You can't do everything. You can't do everything. Now, this depends on the level you are currently. I recall there was a time I was writing professional exams. So during weekends, after maybe going to church, I would need to spend the remaining time just reading. But today, I don't even do that. I have spent those weekend times to do other things. I can even play golf or some other things. So there is much that you can do per time. So you need to sit down and determine what you want to spend your time on and write them down. I talked about it on day 11 and day 14, but it is very important that every year you sit down and say, what am I going to really focus my time on? Don't allow people to just barge into your time anyhow. If anybody can just call you, I've seen people that will just, for example, hey, how far? Where are you there? Are you around this evening? Okay, let's go out now. Let's hang out for this thing. And the next thing, they're hanging out. No, I'm not saying you should be rigid, but everyone cannot just barge into your time and just take from it. You should have some level of decorum and some planning on how you want to organize yourself. Listen, people are the major instrument for scattered energies, and they are also the major instrument for boosted energy. So you need to ensure that people that just come into your life, they are not, scattering your energies for you. And you also need to minimize distraction. We all have 24 hours in a day, and we need to maximize it. See, when I was much younger, my mom used to tell me something, that there is space at the top. It's at the ground that people are struggling and they are fighting, but at the top there is space. Say, strive to be at that top. Listen, when you get to that top, you realize that you can control your time. You can determine where you want to be per time. No employer is pushing you around. Nobody is pushing you around. But you will need to intensify, focus your effort to deliver to a level that pushes you to that place where there is space at the top. Even the Bible says we should buy back time. The word that was used in the book of Ephesians chapter 5 says, redeem the time, for the day are evil. Ephesians 5:16, redeem the time, buy back the time. To redeem time means that we should buy back time, because in the mind of God, we even lost time. So we cannot spend all our time, of the activities that will not take us to the promised land. So if you can watch all those things you want to watch and still have time to do what matters most to you, it is fine. But don't spend time scattering your energy, and at the end of the day, you're not able to focus on what really matters. Don't forget, there is space at the top. There is space at the top. And I see you get to that top very soon and faster than you expected. If this has blessed you, share with your friends and family. And if this is your first time of listening, make sure you subscribe and also go back to listen to the past episode. They will really, really, bless you. Have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow.